rotten food was being sold at an Imperial Beach grocery store. Customers told us the problem was so bad that they started a petition to stop it.
Beneath the crisp glow of fluorescent lights, something isn't quite right. You walk into the produce aisle and you're greeted by colors so vibrant, they almost hum. Tomatoes gleam like rubies. Lettuce glistens under a steady mist. Bell peppers stacked into pyramids as if handpicked from paradise. But none of it is what it seems. Those dewdrops on the lettuce? Not nature's touch. It's automated misting, designed not to hydrate, but to distract. That water? It speeds up rot. Yet under the right lighting, it looks like life. Stores deliberately calibrate overhead LEDs to enhance the greens, deepen the reds, blur the browns. Wilted kale becomes camera-ready. Bruised apples get a second chance. But there's no hiding the truth for long. Pick up that perfect zucchini, and you might feel it. Soft at the tip, rotting from the inside out. It looked fine under the lights. But your kitchen won't lie. Behind every display is a silent performance, rotten vegetables dressed as royalty. Aging produce kept alive just long enough to hit the register. You thought you were buying nutrition, but you bought an illusion. And your health? It's not part of the show. That's the trick they hope you never notice, until it's too late. The word fresh is supposed to mean clean, safe, and full of life. But in the world of grocery store produce, fresh is just a label, one that's rarely earned. Most vegetables travel hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles before they land on that misted shelf. From the farm to the sorting facility, onto trucks, through distribution centers, into cold storage, then finally, under fluorescent lights. Every stop is a chance for contamination. A cucumber picked in Mexico might sit in a warehouse for 10 days. It'll pass through 5 pairs of hands, each one a possible carrier of bacteria. If just one link in that chain goes wrong, if a cooler fails, if a truck stalls, if someone skips a rinse, you're not buying produce. You're buying risk. Crisp doesn't mean clean, and firm doesn't mean free from pathogens. In 2022 alone, dozens of vegetable recalls hit the news, linked to E. coli, listeria, and salmonella, all from vegetables labeled fresh. The truth? By the time you touch that spinach bag or grab that bell pepper, it's already aged, already handled, already vulnerable. And if it wasn't kept cold? If it sat just a little too long in transit? That healthy-looking snack could make you sick before it ever hits your plate. At first glance, Walmart's produce section feels like a bargain hunter's dream. Stacks of colorful vegetables, discounts on every shelf. But take a closer look, and things begin to rot, literally. Customers across the country report opening bags of fresh spinach, only to find it slimy. Mushrooms already browning. Lettuce turning to mush at the base. These aren't isolated incidents, they're a pattern. Walmart sources much of its produce from mass suppliers focused on volume, not quality. That means fewer checks, longer transport, and corners cut in the name of profit. Many of their vegetables come from overseas, where pesticide regulations are looser, sometimes dangerously so. One investigation revealed trace amounts of banned chemicals on produce, imported from regions with little oversight. But the problem doesn't stop there. In-store refrigeration failures, poor stock rotation, and undertrained staff make the issue worse. Vegetables are left unrefrigerated during restocking. Old stock gets pushed to the front. And bruised items? They're often just repackaged and placed back out. Business as usual. Walmart may promise affordability, but at what cost? Wilted greens, questionable chemicals, and vegetables that look good, just long enough to fool you at checkout. That's not freshness. That's a ticking time bomb in your grocery bag. Trader Joe's is the kind of store that makes you feel like you're making the right choice. The handwritten signs, the quirky names, the charming little bags of pre-cut veggies wrapped in craft paper. But behind the friendly branding and cheerful atmosphere lies a different story. One that's not so wholesome. Their produce looks artisanal, But where it really comes from, that's harder to pin down. Labels that read "Product of USA" might mean the vegetables were simply packed here, not grown here. And that organic zucchini, it might have passed through ports and hands you'd never expect. Former employees have admitted that produce rotation is spotty at best. Wilted kale gets tucked behind newer bunches. Bruised tomatoes end up in a fresh-looking bin. And expiration dates? Often missed. Because the team is small, and speed takes priority over scrutiny. Even worse, Trader Joe's has been flagged for mislabeling. Items listed as organic sometimes come from suppliers previously penalized for violations. You thought you were avoiding pesticides, but were you? The charm is powerful. The price feels fair. But don't be fooled. Just because it looks like a farmer's market doesn't mean it was grown with care. Sometimes it's just well-designed fiction in a plastic wrap. Kroger wants you to believe you're shopping smart, that their wide aisles and fresh for everyone branding mean clean, quality food. But when it comes to vegetables, the reality isn't just disappointing, it's disturbing. Health departments have cited Kroger stores across multiple states for produce violations. Mold found growing under shrink wrap, spoiled vegetables left on display, refrigeration systems that barely meet minimum standards. And the worst part? It keeps happening. Behind the scenes, the rotation system is broken. Former employees have come forward, admitting that vegetables are often stocked days past their prime. Expired items get pushed forward. Plastic wrap is used to mask decay. And managers? They're more concerned with filling shelves than tossing out the rot. Customers report grabbing what looks like a perfect pepper, only to find it slimy underneath. Bags of salad greens sealed tight, with mold blooming inside. The kind of thing you don't see until it's too late, until it's already in your fridge. And what does Kroger say? That it's a one-off, that it's handled. But the complaints keep stacking up, like bruised produce no one wants to claim. If fresh is the promise, then what do you call this? Because mold and lies don't belong in anyone's grocery cart. Whole Foods is where you go when you want to feel like you're making the right choice. The clean lighting, the beautiful displays, the price tags that promise purity. But behind the pristine aisles and premium branding, something artificial is at work. And it's called ethylene gas. This invisible chemical is used to make vegetables look fresher than they really are. It triggers artificial ripening, bringing dull produce back to life just long enough to sell it. A green banana becomes yellow. A firm avocado softens. A lifeless tomato regains its blush. But it's a cosmetic illusion. Because underneath, the produce is still aging, still deteriorating. And here's the worst part. Whole Foods overuses it. Insiders say it's routine practice to gas entire shipments to meet appearance standards. Not freshness, not flavor, just looks. You pay a premium, but you're buying presentation, not nutrition. That firm bell pepper, it was weeks old when it arrived. The bright spinach, gassed into vibrancy after a long, warm trip across the country. You thought you were buying better, cleaner, safer, but Whole Foods is just better at the illusion. And when freshness becomes a performance, the price of appearances might be more than your wallet can afford. At Safeway, convenience comes in tidy plastic clamshells, pre-cut, pre-washed, perfectly portioned. It looks like a salad made easy, but it's really a chemical cocktail in disguise. That crisp lettuce didn't stay fresh on its own. Those carrots didn't stay orange by chance. They've been bathed, treated, and preserved within an inch of their natural state. Safeway's prepackaged veggies are often washed in powerful solutions, not just water. We're talking chlorine-based rinses, citric acid dips, even hydrogen peroxide blends, all designed to kill bacteria, extend shelf life, and keep things looking bright. But what's not on the label? The residue, the altered taste, the potential long-term effects of eating chemicals meant for sanitation, not consumption. And it doesn't stop there. Some of Safeway's pre-cut vegetables are stored for days in chilled warehouses before they even hit the shelf. One employee admitted the sell-by stickers were slapped on at the store, not based on harvest date, but based on appearance. So when you grab that bag of greens and think it smells fresh, ask yourself what it's really been soaked in. At Safeway, the salad might be ready to eat, but you're also chewing on a recipe you were never meant to read. You see the sign, locally grown. It sounds comforting, like a nearby farm, a neighbor's field, something honest and wholesome. But in reality, that label might be nothing more than marketing sleight of hand, because local has no strict definition, and grocery chains know exactly how to blur the line between farm fresh and long-haul produce. In some cases, local can legally mean anything within 400 miles. That's a 6-hour drive or more. And in produce time, that's an eternity. Every hour out of the ground, vegetables lose moisture, enzymes break down, and nutrients start to fade. By the time that local zucchini hits the shelf, it's already halfway to wilted. And the longer the trip, the greater the risk. More hands, more trucks, more chances for contamination. A single missed refrigeration cycle could turn a bin of cucumbers into a bacterial breeding ground. Worse still, some stores rotate produce through regional hubs, shipping it out and back just to call it local. It's not about freshness, it's about perception. Because local sells. But next time you see that sticker, ask where it really came from. Not just the town, the timeline. Because when it comes to vegetables, miles matter. Minutes matter even more. It doesn't take much, just one broken link. One truck with a faulty cooling unit. One warehouse that's a few degrees too warm. And suddenly your crisp, colorful produce becomes a silent incubator for bacteria you can't see, but will definitely feel. This is the cold chain, the invisible safety net that keeps perishable foods safe from farm to shelf. When it works, vegetables stay crisp, nutrients stay intact, and harmful pathogens stay dormant. But when it fails, even briefly, it sets off a chain reaction of decay you can't reverse. Listeria, E. coli, Salmonella. These aren't just rare, random outbreaks. They thrive in exactly the conditions created by a collapsed cold chain. Warm spots in transit, long unloading times, power outages. Even a short delay in a hot loading dock can turn romaine lettuce into a bacterial sponge. The worst part? You'd never know, because the spinach still looks green. The carrots still crunch. But what you can't see, deep inside the cells, is the microbial storm that's already started. And by the time you bring it home, wash it, plate it, the damage is done. Because freshness is fragile. And safety? It's only as strong as the weakest fridge in the line. It starts before you even reach the produce section. A shopping cart that wasn't wiped down. A plastic bin that held raw chicken just minutes ago. An employee restocking lettuce with the same gloves used to handle ground beef. These aren't horror stories. They're everyday moments in grocery stores across the country. Cross-contamination is invisible. And that's what makes it so dangerous. When you pick up that zucchini or head of broccoli, you assume it's clean because it looks clean. But looks lie. That cucumber may have brushed against a dripping meat package in the cart. That romaine might have sat under a leaking chicken breast in the backroom cooler. And those apples, they were touched by dozens of hands. Some just out of the bathroom, others fresh from the deli counter. It only takes one microscopic smear of bacteria to start a chain of illness. And washing at home? It doesn't always help. Some pathogens, like norovirus or listeria, can survive even after a rinse. They hide in cracks, in creases, in the spaces you can't scrub. So next time you reach for that bag of carrots, remember, your produce aisle might be clean to the eye, but crawling under the surface, triple washed, ready to eat. It sounds safe, almost luxurious. But behind those sealed bags of spinach and lettuce lies one of the most alarming truths in the produce industry. Pre-washed greens are now among the top culprits in foodborne illness outbreaks. And the numbers don't lie. The very thing that's supposed to protect you, those triple washes, often come from the same contaminated water. Massive industrial rinses meant to clean thousands of pounds of greens in minutes. But if that water is tainted once, everything that touches it is compromised. It's a closed loop, and once the bacteria gets in, it spreads fast. E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria, invisible threats that cling to leaves, hiding in the folds, undetectable to your eye. And because they're labeled ready to eat, most people don't wash them again. Why would they? The label said it all, except it didn't. Bagged greens are often packaged in bulk facilities with minimal oversight. One missed cleaning cycle, one sick employee, one contaminated batch of rinse water. That's all it takes. And by the time it hits your plate, it may look crisp and clean, but that salad might be carrying something far worse than dressing. That deep red tomato, firm and flawless. The banana with just the right amount of yellow. The avocado that gives slightly under your thumb. They all look perfect, like they were picked from the vine or tree just hours ago. But the truth is far less natural. Most of the produce you see has been chemically ripened using ethylene gas, a colorless, odorless compound used to force fruits and vegetables into looking ripe, whether they are or not. This isn't a new trick. It's industry standard. Tomatoes picked green are blasted with ethylene in massive warehouses to turn them red. Bananas arrive rock hard and gray-green until they're ripened on schedule in gas chambers before hitting the shelves. What you're seeing isn't maturity, it's marketing. The result? Beautiful produce that tastes like nothing. Tomatoes with no sweetness. Bananas that go brown in days. And worst of all, nutrients lost before they even reach your cart. Because natural ripening isn't just about appearance. It's about flavor. It's about value. And ethylene skips both. So next time you bite into a bland, watery tomato and wonder why, remember, it wasn't ripened by the sun. It was staged. And you bought the performance. They say the produce section is the heart of the grocery store. Fresh, colorful, alive. But talk to the employees who've worked behind the scenes and a darker picture begins to form. Whistleblowers from major chains have stepped forward, revealing what really happens when the cameras aren't rolling, and the managers just want shelves stocked. One worker described onions with moldy skins being peeled and repackaged, old bulbs made to look new. Another admitted to spraying water on rotting bell peppers just before opening to create a shine. The goal? Trick your eyes before your nose has a chance to catch up. Bruised avocados that should have been discarded are placed on top of fresh ones, marked at full price. Soft cucumbers are rotated to the front, while firmer, healthier stock is buried in the back. And expiration stickers, sometimes replaced with newer ones if the veggie can pass visually. Behind the cheerful produce misters and cheerful aprons is a silent pressure to sell, not to serve. And for many employees, keeping their job means keeping quiet. But the truth leaks out, one confession at a time. The produce might look clean, but the system? It's already rotting from within. Spotting danger in the produce aisle isn't about being paranoid. It's about being aware, because the signs are there, if you know what to look for. Start with texture. A cucumber that feels soft at the tips, it's already decaying. Lettuce that bends instead of snaps, it's lost its core moisture and possibly picked up bacteria along the way. Smell matters. Fresh vegetables should smell earthy, clean, not sour or metallic. If you catch even the faintest whiff of ammonia or mold, walk away. That odor isn't harmless. It's the byproduct of spoilage, fermentation, or worse. Packaging tells a story too. Bags puffed up with air often signal microbial activity inside. That sealed spinach with a little condensation? It's not just moisture, it's a breeding ground. And those triple-washed greens? Rinse them anyway. Trust shouldn't be automatic. Look past the color. Grocery lighting is designed to mask imperfections. Use your hands, your nose, even your ears. A fresh carrot should snap. A fresh pepper should be firm, not hollow. Above all, trust your instincts. If it feels off, it probably is. Because when it comes to vegetables, freshness isn't a promise. It's something you have to fight to recognize before it's too late. You've seen the truth behind the mist, behind the perfect lighting, behind the stickers and claims and false promises. This wasn't just about vegetables. It was about trust, about what you've been told, about what you've put in your cart and onto your plate. The safest vegetables don't come wrapped in plastic or sprayed into fake life. They come from soil you can trace, from farmers who don't hide behind labels, farmers markets, local co-ops, even small-scale stores that prioritize freshness over shelf life. That's where real food lives. Learn to decode the produce aisle, read past the branding, feel the texture, smell the truth. If the packaging looks too clean, if the tomato feels too firm, stop and question it. Ask where it came from, how long it traveled, what it went through just to look fresh. Because your health isn't worth a gamble. If this video opened your eyes, share it. If you've experienced these tricks firsthand, drop a comment. And if you're ready to take back control of what you eat, subscribe. Together, we can stop falling for the illusion. This isn't just about vegetables anymore. It's about everything we were never meant to swallow.